Everywhere that you kind of Google around when it comes to OpenStack and Kubernetes, you see a ton of stuff for telco or telecommunications providers, and I would say for good reason. So I always like to start off a little bit of the presentation around what Mercedes is doing. Now, of course, Mercedes is not a telco provider. However, what they are doing is pretty darn amazing. They're running over 900 Kubernetes clusters, and guess where they're running them? You maybe guessed it, OpenStack. So they're running 900 Kubernetes clusters on OpenStack. Now, when it comes to large organizations like telco providers, this kind of goes to show that you can run extremely large Kubernetes related infrastructure on OpenStack. So why are telco providers so invested in OpenStack, or rather, well, both, but Kubernetes running on OpenStack? Well, first and foremost, as a telco provider, one of the most important things is speed, network speed. So the really good thing about running OpenStack and Kubernetes is that you're in control of what your network looks like. So you're not limited by other providers. You're not getting dinged from a cost perspective on using so much bandwidth. Like, could you imagine if, something like, I don't know, Verizon ran all of their traffic through a public cloud provider? That would be a lot of money. And it wouldn't really make sense because big telco providers like that have huge infrastructure already. And they're able to manage the speed at which everybody is getting their data. So for example, if I'm a customer of, a cell phone provider, they're able to say, okay, this person's going to get unlimited high speed for 50 gigs and then it's going to get bogged down after that. So having the ability to manage, that speed from a networking standpoint is super crucial to telco providers. Now, the next piece is security. So you control who has access to what and how your clusters are going to be interacting with the world. On the underlying infrastructure that's running OpenStack and Kubernetes, you have full control of that. So you don't have to worry about who's doing what provider is doing what, etc. You have all control over those clusters and the operating systems and the networking and the security and everything. Now, the next piece is you control the underlying infrastructure and the server size. So you don't have to worry about a monthly quota or a yearly quota or whatever of how many large VMs you can have running. You control all of that. So if you have 900 Kubernetes clusters and, figure, let's just think from a best practices standpoint, 2 control planes and 3 to 4 worker nodes, that ends up being a lot of servers. And those servers need to have large sizes. They can't just be, 2 virtual CPUs and 4 gigs of RAM. It needs to be much larger than that. So you control everything from a performance standpoint. Now, the next piece, and this is arguably one of the biggest upsides of OpenStack, is it acts like a cloud. So if you're used to public clouds, it feels like that. And, a lot of public clouds are based off of OpenStack or what OpenStack was originally doing. But the thing is that it's private. So you still have the feel of a public cloud. Engineers, developers, operations folks, whoever can log in and feel like they're in the cloud, but it's private. So again, you have full control from a networking perspective, from a VM size perspective, from a performance perspective. So putting that all together, Telco is really interested in being able to manage the performance and being able to manage where the data lives. And that's why OpenStack is a great choice, especially running Kubernetes.